Once again, I thought I was recording and I had turned it off and didn't realize it. This card, though, thoughts become things. And up until this point, your reality is what you have thought it to be. And your current reality, part of it is the old you, what you used to go through, what you used to tolerate, what you used to put up with. And this is a test to see if you will allow it to continue in your reality. Are you going to continue to put up with the things you put up with before you woke up, before you started working so hard on your healing, before you started pulling yourself up out of this? Are you going to continue to let that stuff drag you back and hold you down and bind you here where you're not supposed to be? Or are you going to set yourself free and let go of things that no longer serve you? This may be jobs, this may be where you live, this may be people you've tolerated and put up with in the past that you know you can't deal with it anymore. And you've set clear boundaries. Are you going to stand by them or not? You are the only one that can get yourself out of the situation that you're in. And you know that the time is winding down. You know that you're not supposed to be in this current situation long term. You got to make those changes. The next one says, when following my bliss, I avoid foods that do not serve me. Some of you have been called to change your diet and you've made those changes, and some of you are in the process of making changes, but you keep talking yourself out of it, or you'll do good for a couple of days and then you'll backslide. There's several different timelines going on there. And I am currently talking to myself here as well. I'm cleaning my diet back up. Right now I'm doing mainly a vegetable and rice cleanse. Doing mostly soups because I'm using my Instant Pot, but I do a lot of healing herbs, healing vegetables, and then rice is very easy to digest, and then I add mung beans with it, which is the perfect amino acid and protein complex, and also very easy to digest and very cleansing. Um, and then I'm also doing herbal teas at night with raw ginger, raw lemon, raw lime juice, and raw honey. And I'm taking a milk thistle complex that has dandelion and yellow dock in it to help support my liver during all this. So you're being called to clean out your temple, and it's all about vibration. I'll give you an example. I was running a vegan vegetarian community. I was just talking to a lady about it today. Eggs are a byproduct of a chicken, and if you raise them humanely, they're still going to have eggs. So I don't condemn or you know, anybody that wants to eat eggs. But me personally, I lost the taste for them when I went whole food plant-based. I did raw vegan for a year, and then I've stayed whole food plant-based since 2013 completely. I was vegetarian before that. But I don't desire eggs anymore, and the thought of eating one makes me literally feel ill. But I don't condemn anybody else that eats them either, So it's finding what you resonate with. But if you're being called to stop eating something, it's literally your spirit telling your physical body to stop, because it's literally keeping you from elevating, and it is affecting your health. So whatever changes you're being called to make, now is the time to get dead serious about it and stop making excuses and stop doing good for a little while and then letting emotional things drag you back down into what you were doing before, because it's no longer serving you, and it's not conducive to your health or the healing that you're trying to experience. Next, we've got A New Earth 52 Inspiration Cards by Eckhart Tolle. It's the first time I'm reading off this deck, and the last deck that I just read from. I've read one time off that Goddess deck. This one says, you cannot receive what you do not give. Overflow determines inflow. Whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you already have it. But unless you allow it to flow out, you won't even know that you have it. This includes abundance. You got to get out of the poverty mindset, and you got to get into your God or Goddess mindset. And I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but even in the Christian Bible, it says we were made in the image of God, and Christ says, are ye not gods? And this plane, there is no greater thought on heaven and earth than the thought of a man. There's no greater power on heaven and earth than the thought of a man. Jesus said that to the Essenes in the Lost Book of the Essenes. What you think becomes your reality, so you have got to get to where you know that you deserve to elevate up out of the situation that you're in. You deserve to heal. You deserve to have true love. You deserve to be in an environment that is conducive to your health and well-being. And until you believe that mentally, you're going to stay stuck in this quagmire that you've gotten yourself into that you're no longer happy in. And you're going to keep convincing yourself to repeat this cycle, and to the point that you can't anymore. And then you're going to lose it all anyway. And why do that? Why not get ahead of it? Why not do what you're being called to do? Downsize, clean out the clutter, get rid of the mess, and start making arrangements for things that you know need to go other places so that you can make this move that you need to make. Spirit is telling you, whether you get on board or not, you're going to have to make this move. So get ahead of it. The next one says, spiritual realization is to see clearly that what I perceive, experience, think, or feel is ultimately not who I am. That I cannot find myself in all those things that continuously pass away. This thing that you're trying to hold on to and trying to hold together, it's not who you are. It has nothing to do with who you are. And look at your surroundings. Look at your job. Look at the people that you surrounded yourself with. Look at the environment that you've created, and tell me if it really represents your soul. And if it doesn't, then you do need to make clear changes quickly, or they're going to be made for you. I'm telling you, it's coming through so strong, because I know how bad some of you guys are fighting this. I know how bad I'm fighting changes myself, because I do form attachments, and I want to do what's best for everybody else. And sometimes I'll put my own needs and my own wants and my own desires last. But I know that this is truly a test for me this time too, to see what I'll do. And I am learning to be a little selfish. I still give, I still love, I still nurture people, but I got to give all that to myself, or I won't be able to do any of that anymore. You know, I've gotten depth to the point energy vampires had me sucked dry to the point I almost died, and I'll never go back to that again. And now I'm finding the balance to where I still help others, but I don't overgive, and I don't overshare, and I don't deplete myself and deplete my resources. And I don't keep myself in a situation I'm not happy in just to keep somebody else okay. I can't do that anymore. So some of you guys are still trying to do that, and you're being led and called not to do that anymore, because ultimately what you do is you enable that person to stay in a situation they're not supposed to be in. You know, you impede their growth. And I know this, speaking from experience of helping a close family member in the past. I won't name names, but I look back on all that I've given, and there's really nothing to show for it other than I gave away resources that I could have really done something with, and I would have done something with. But instead, I was trying to help save that person, and all I did was enable them to continue to stay in situations it was not good for their growth, and they didn't learn, and they didn't grow, and ultimately they didn't appreciate what I sacrificed for them. So I learned from that, though, and I won't be that person again. So I'm getting ready to have to make some hard decisions myself. It ain't going to be comfortable. It ain't going to be nice, but ultimately it's going to be what's best for me, and it will ultimately be best for everybody that is involved around me as well, because it will push them into situations that they're supposed to be in and out of the ones they're not supposed to be in. Next, we've got the shadow work cards, and when I started shuffling them, several of them came out at different times, so I'm going to go with all of them because I feel like they all have a message. We'll start it, and then we're going to end up going to a part 3, but I've got a minute or two, so I'll start this. The first one is obscurity. In the unknown, there's room for endless possibilities. I'm trying to read what that, very faintly, it's got, I can't read there's 3 words at the bottom, but I can't read them. But I know how scary it is to leap into the unknown because I've done it many times now, and I've got a feeling I'm going to be doing it again soon. But it always ends up working out to my benefit and to my good, and I always learn from it, and I always experience the most beautiful things out of it, along with sometimes crazy stuff, because I'm stubborn too, and I try to hold on to things, and I form attachments. I'm human. We all are. But it's getting easier and easier for me to learn the lessons and know when it's time for me to go, know when it's time for me to do something different, and to turn loose at things and let go and let God, you know? We're going to go ahead and go to a part 3.